We are live.
Yeah.
Been a
Welcome to Anarchy,
crazy.
Minarchy, and Utopia. I'm Phoenix.
I'm Victor, and this is the chaotic start of this year of 2024.
Yeah, specifically it's only been 1 month and this really crazy year that's probably gonna top off 2020. Um and specifically the last week of this month of January 2024 is like quite a bit of crazy shit has happened within.
Yeah, like we had the Swifty Trump supporter war. We had that Pennsylvania man decapitating his father. Or we had Trump's trap house being
Yeah, and
revealed
we'll
amongst.
get into others real quick. There has been another story that has happened this month, particularly like the standoff between Abbott and Texas and the Biden administration over the border, but we're not going to cover that in this episode. However, we're going to cover a bunch of other crazy stories, starting with the MAGA's war against Taylor
If you're
Swift.
curious.
I'm sorry, what?
I was saying that we aren't also covering the California storm, even though it directly affects me. But since I haven't lost power, I'm still able to stream.
I think you cut off on my end because I didn't hear
Oh,
you.
uh,
uh, okay, but anyway, we're gonna cover like Trump supporters for some a lot of Trump supporters for some reason are just full out going against Taylor Swift, and for some reason football like the NFL. like like you would think, like, isn't this like a big demographic that likes that stuff, but they're
yeah,
just going against it.
like there's so many people who normally would just vote Republican that love to go out, watch football, listen to Taylor Swift and whatnot, drink some Jack Daniels maybe at tailgate, and yeah. But due to some bizarre theory and some AI images that also got it spread around Twitter, well, yeah, stuff like this has happened.
Trump allies pledge holy war against Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift hasn't even endorsed Joe Biden. Oh yeah, that's right. Um they're going after Taylor Swift because she might endorse Biden. She hasn't even endorsed Biden or even like mentioned hardly anything political. Almost at all, at least in this election cycle. And
But
even
to be
before,
fair, she did en- endorse Biden in 2020 and even baked Biden 2020 cookies in 2020. So she's probably going to endorse Trump. And to be honest, after this, she's definitely going to.
like she said, Taylor Swift but Trump is well um but Trump is already privately grossing he's more popular than her. Yeah, so like to give you a background of what exactly is happening, uh ta- um Trump supporters are like it's any like people like Ramaswamy and like some Fox host and all that, and these political commentators, they're they're coming up with this conspiracy theory that since Taylor Swift and what was that
She's dating a Chiefs player, and the Chiefs are one of the people playing in the Super Bowl. And some people think that they're going to rig the game for the Chiefs in order to win, and that way Taylor Swift can, after the Chiefs win, endorse Biden during the Super Bowl or some shit.
yeah, exactly. You said it better than I did. Yeah, but yeah,
But to
and
be
they're
honest,
saying
the
go
idea of the
ahead.
Super Bowl being rigged for the Chiefs just because Taylor Swift's dating a Chiefs player is absolutely ridiculous because Kamala Harris could easily campaign off of the 49ers winning just as much, if not more, because she was senator from California. The 49ers is a Californian football team. And either outcome, ironically enough, helps Biden. But I also think having the vice president's home state win the Super Bowl is a bigger deal for Biden. But what do I know?
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, the right says they're going after Taylor Swift because, like, oh, she could flip the, she could be a deciding factor in the election. Her endorsement will basically make like hundreds of millions of people vote for Biden, and shift the. But like the thing, that theory is preposterous because almost every single celebrity endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2016. And how much did that do for her?
Yeah, and like some people were saying that some rappers endorsing Trump is going to swing the election. It's not. Because honestly, the amount of people who listen to rap music and the people who vote Republican, that intersection's fairly small. It would make much more sense to get country singers to endorse someone like Trump. Oh, which I guess Taylor Swift technically was. I'm not a Swiftie. All I know is that Swifties are so desperate for tickets they will literally sacrifice a homeless guy to a demon to get tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, basically, we're gonna watch a compilation. We're gonna watch a Fox News compilation where they're talking about this whole war against Taylor Swift.
Do you have the clip? All right.
Yep.
We have had enough of Taylor Swift for now.
She shouldn't be liberal. She should be a total conservative, given everything.
The Pentagon.
What? A total conservative.
Well, she was a country singer once, so.
Wait, is Taylor Swift a Pentagon asset?
Also, yeah, my co-host's internet connection ain't the best, so we apologize.
Wait, what's
for the
wrong?
low resolution. The resolution of the video is kind of low.
Oh. Okay. But you can still see it, right? Even though it's blurry.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so what the hell is this?
That's just
Pentagon
Jesse
PSYOP
Waters.
unit pitched NATO on turning Taylor Swift into an asset.
Yesterday, she flew private from New York City to Baltimore. Yet she constantly talks about climate change. So just please don't believe everything Taylor Swift says. We're all begging you. I think she
What? Okay. Who said that?
should just stick
One of the
to her
puns.
singing and let her love life be what it is.
The New York Times just spent
Y'all are the ones who are attacking her for her love life.
To be fair, that's a lot of her songs are about her love life and what it's led to, so it's not.
Okay, that's fair.
Well, like she has a lot of good songs that are popular as like quote unquote breakup songs about her breakups.
Yeah, that's true.
speculated she's a lesbian.
A new
All the women that Taylor Swift have all the men who dated Taylor. I mean, Taylor Swift's only dated men publicly, so
poll
pretty sure
shows
she's now
18%
like
of voters
LGBT.
are likely to vote for whichever candidate Taylor Swift endorses. Uh-oh.
Biden,
I think we missed that.
Taylor Swift endorses. Whichever candidate Taylor Swift endorses.
The New York Times just
I'm sorry. This X.com has shit video. Thanks, Elon Musk.
I might also be your Wi-Fi, but
speculated she's a lesbian.
A new poll shows 18% of voters are likely to vote for whichever candidate Taylor Swift endorses. Uh-oh.
Biden,
Again, celebrity endorsements are bullshit.
Do you know how many women were like, yeah, and we're like, yeah, fuck Trump, he is a misogynist piece of shit. Like, very prominent celebrities saying this, and how many people did that win over?
Yeah, none.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton got Swift support too. That didn't help her out too much either.
Yeah, so this whole thing's stupid. Anyway, let's continue.
Effectively has Taylor Swift as his VP.
Single post of hers led to 35,000 new registrants. That's arguably more power than the president.
She's sharing links.
Okay, that Mo.
You know the irony about the registered voters part?
What?
The bulk of them were Republican.
Yeah.
Granted, it's Tennessee, but well.
Swift's bow is cashing in on pushing vaccines. Oh my god. Here's the anti-vax shit.
Links. And her boyfriend, Travis Kelce, sponsored by Pfizer.
What's her stance on policy?
Oh my god. Pfizer is crafting this rigging the Super Bowl, guys. So Taylor Swift can endorse Joe Biden.
No, if Pfizer wanted to rig the Super Bowl, they would just simply give the team they want to lose myocarditis.
Economic policy, foreign policy.
I
Should
don't
we
think
ask
that.
Taylor
I
Swift
don't
how to
think that would
respond to
be.
Iran?
So don't get involved. Don't get involved in politics. We don't want to see you there.
We have had enough of.
Okay. That's the end of that video.
Yeah, also. Oh, but I think the main thing people forget is that a lot of people who like Taylor Swift aren't going to agree with her politics. The fact is, there are a lot of celebrities that I personally am a fan of, but I obviously won't endorse her politics. Like, just because I like someone's role in a movie or whatnot doesn't mean I'm going to endorse their political opinions. Like, I fucking love Goodfellas, but I'm not going to endorse Robert De Niro's resist lib statements and whatnot.
Yeah. We got more on this thing.
Wow, the whole world is talking about Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. I like the song called Style. I like the song where she's complaining about her boyfriend who lied to her. I like the song where she complains about the boyfriend who dumped her. I like the song about the girlfriend who let her down on the big night. She was expecting all the support at the party. I kind of have a problem, though, with the hardcore Taylor Swift fans. They are totally over the top, worshiping this woman. Have you seen any of the
actually true
of her in concert? I wouldn't go myself. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. But I think what they call it is they're elevating her to an idol, idolatry. This is a little bit what idolatry, I think, looks like, and you're not supposed to do that. In fact, if you look it up in the Bible, it's a sin. So I don't like that, and I'm all.
Can I just interject about that?
Yes.
I would agree with that if it weren't for the fact that these same people will treat Trump the exact same way.
Exactly the point I was going to make.
Remember the golden Trump statue?
Yeah.
Like, also, George Santos is a Taylor Swift fan. I just wanted to mention that. He has song parts of Taylor Swift videos. I mean, songs on Cameo, and it is hilarious. You should totally check that out if you haven't already. But
okay, we get even to the more deranged part that I was talking about. More so.
All right.
If it will load. Yeah, I got the clip. It's just loading.
America's pop star celebrity sweetheart joins forces with the top dog in the NFL, playing for the team that's going to the Super Bowl. I mean, let's be real here. This is bread and circuses on steroids. Major League Sports, in and of itself, is nothing but a psyop. Get kids plugged into the cycle of going to public indoctrination camps, playing sports for their school, and going to games. Many end up devoting their entire childhood to competing in various sports, only to be cut from the team, at which point they become brainwashed into supporting professional teams because they know their dreams of becoming a pro athlete will probably never happen. So then they become obsessed with some grown man who gets paid millions of dollars every year to throw a ball around while promoting poison death shots and child slave labor through various brand deals and endorsements. So sad.
What was that?
Okay, the way some of the shoes are produced is ethically questionable at best, but football's been an American pastime since forever, and it's always been like a huge source of national pride. It's ironically, in a way, it could be seen as a tenet of American nationalism if you think about it. It's a core part of the American identity, the Super Bowl. Like, it's the second biggest time to aim to eat, aside from Thanksgiving. And like the most American I felt last year was when I was just drinking some bourbon, watching the game, a football game outside on a lawn chair. I think, even though I don't really watch football, it was like, you know what? I'll socialize with this, even though I was still a bit sick, so probably shouldn't have been drinking. But hey.
Imagine being so brainwashed by sports, you actually show up to your team stadium to shovel snow for free so you can watch a bunch of grown men who are overpaid tackle each other. Seriously, though, trudging through 3 feet of snow amid a massive blizzard just to watch a game? Yeah, sorry, you couldn't pay me to do that.
She's such a killjoy. My God.
Like, I kind of miss the days of just the old boomer cons that are like, yeah, we'll vote, we'll shoot guns, go to church, and watch football. Like, was like the stereotypical American way of life. You know what I mean? Going to church, watching football, with friends and family, having a couple beers along the way. Probably not at church, though.
Yeah,
but you get my point.
She's painting this as a bad thing. I mean, like, that's bait. Like, that's base, basically.
I don't even really care for football myself, but I just think that this kind of hatred of football all of a sudden just feels so forced by the right, when there's many normie cons that will vote Republican, but not.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
football. In fact, enjoy it.
It shows that these people are out of touch. Like, they're so out of touch that they're attacking the number one pop star and football, like, which is the most.
Like, that's not how you win over your average American. The whole Trump campaign this time around, it's just been so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like the Trump supporters feel like they're becoming more and more online. Like, these people, I mean, to be fair, they're listening to like Q on like 8chan or whatever it's called.
Just imagine for a moment.
8chan's kind of, well, a bit different, but I digress.
Okay.
If people were as dedicated to Jesus as they are professional sports, I think the country might look pretty different if that were the case.
Oh my God.
The two go hand in hand. People love sports as an integral part of American culture.
But sadly, as we know, it's not. And perhaps that's why we're witnessing the crumbling and degradation of our once great nation. Instead, all we seem to care about are the celebrities and athletes propped up by the Hollywood elites and this ongoing theater, this fake, carefully crafted show that the masses have been hypnotized by and
People everyone likes football. The West has fallen.
Even though it's one of the biggest sources of Americana I could think of.
Yeah, but I think we had enough of that lady.
Also, you're a Texan, right? So
Oh
Friday
yeah,
Night Lights and that shit is huge to my knowledge where you're at.
yeah. Like I think like this whole anti-football crusade is definitely not going to land in Texas at all.
Well, I don't think it's gonna flip it for Biden by any means, but it is gonna alienate a good amount of people. Not enough to flip it, but
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, like Texas is the type of place where like everyone's obsessed with like a lot of people are obsessed with high school football. It's like a really big thing. Like,
one of your governors was straight up ousted because of the no pass, no play rule.
Exactly. Yeah. Like people, it's kind of sad. Like quite a bit of Texans care more about like high school football than like their children's education.
Yeah, the fact is, high school football is actually the biggest thorn in the side of school choice in Texas.
Yeah, that's the biggest like obstacle, like high school football and school choice in Texas.
But the way I see it is also a way a lot of people get like their scholarships and whatnot to like big name universities. So it is a way for people who otherwise can't afford to go into college to get into college, but
I
at
mean,
the same time, I
like-
think there's other ways of having high school football without eliminating school choice. You could just
And the
have
thing
it
is-
in school.
And the thing is basically like and the thing is that like people basically like it's not just basically parents of children who are playing the football, like because that's how it probably is throughout most of the country. In Texas, it's like even if you were just basically like a random person with no children or whatever, like you still those people still you have like those types of people who are obsessed with high school football. That sounds kind of weird from outside of Texas, but yeah, that's true. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should probably move on to our next crazy ass story, and I really want to talk about the Pennsylvania one.
Okay, we'll go to the Pennsylvania one. So yeah, there was a terrorist
who decapitated his own father and showed what was possibly the decapitated head on video, threatening a revolt against migrants, Joe Biden, and the Democratic Party, but weirdly saying, but by the way, spare Josh Shapiro. I do not understand how someone as governor can be that popular to the point where someone as deranged and hateful of the Democratic Party would still like Josh Shapiro. If any Pennsylvanians are watching this, can you please explain how the hell is that governor so popular that he's going to probably get reelected with Assad margins in 2026?
Yeah. I don't it's like like where have we come as a society where like I mean basically like don't get me wrong, there is like left-wing terrorism and extremism that is a problem, like just look in 2020 and all that. However, it's undeniable that at this point basically like how basically we're not we're seeing like I don't like this dude wasn't even like a white supremacist or like someone on the alt-right. I don't think they were a regular Trump supporter, hardcore Trump supporter at that, but you know what I mean. Like he was like
another thing is, as I mentioned prior with the whole Josh Shapiro thing, they're probably not anti-Semitic if they have a positive opinion of him.
Yeah, like the thing is basically like I feel like Trump's hardcore base, like the ones that are like so into him that they're like TFG, too far gone. Like they're becoming more and more radicalized, to say the least. And we're not saying that as leftists here, but it's true. Like, I'm the type of person that, like, a couple years ago, I would have basically laughed in your face if you basically said this type of shit that I am now, but it's true.
Actually, there's a lot of stuff that has happened in recent years that I wouldn't have believed, just even as early as 2021. Such as, well, obviously this, but and Coulter recently saying that the best thing Trump could do do to help Republicans take back America's die, and amongst other stuff.
I mean, this kind of basically fits into the whole thing about like the whole like this is kind of why I think that like revolutionary rhetoric, like just like I hear like a lot from like the Antifa types, it's kind of dangerous because some people will actually take that literally to the point where they'll do it themselves. They'll harm other people. Like,
yeah, because there's something I forgot to mention about the Pennsylvania case.
Yes.
And that is the fact he killed his father in the first place. That his father, I believe, worked for the federal government, and that was his way. He just, member of the federal government to attack.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he yeah, like, and the thing is that, like, yeah, that's pretty bad. Like attacking like government employees or some shit. Like,
no, but not just that, but his own father.
Yeah, even to the point where you're able to kill your own dad if they're a government employee. Like, we should not reach like a level like that of politics in the U.S.
And all this highlights is two things. One, some people have just become utterly and completely deranged in recent years. And Josh Shapiro is probably one of the most popular governors in the entire United States who will win re-election easily and very well could become president of the United States someday. If the Dems were smart, they'd nominate him in 2024 over Biden, but they won't.
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to win over so many Pennsylvanians that even include some of the most deranged fringe people while still not alienating your core base, that says something. And if you're curious on why we're not sharing the video of it, it's because we don't want to be taken down for violating YouTube TOS. I'm sure you can find the video somewhere, but we aren't showing it.
Yeah, we're not gonna show that because yeah, it's pretty graphic. But I haven't watched it myself. But yeah, so I guess let's move on to the next subject, the Trump White House pharmacy report by the Department of Defense.
Yeah, basically, when you're president, you have your own personal pharmacy, and it makes sense why the president could have such privileges. And And there were rumors going around owned that Trump was abusing Adderall during his tenure, with some people saying that he was coked out and Don Jr. was coked out at the RNC. And well, I guess high off of stimulants, Adderall's an amphetamine, not chemically similar to cocaine, but I digress. Do you have a list of the drugs that Trump ordered?
Hang on a second. I got the article here. Okay, yeah. So Trump basically, according to a recent report by the Department of Defense, pretty much they found that there was rampant abuse of the White House pharmacy to the point where they were just handing them out like candy and like little bags. And like they had these barrels. They were basically like they had the doctors in the pharmacy basically like just keep writing like prescription abuse, and so they can just give up these.
Basically, imagine remember when you were going trick or treating on Halloween and the coolest ones would have like the giant cauldron of candy and you're only told to pick one? Imagine that, but with drugs, and you can take as many as you'd like, and it's in the White House, and the president signed off on this.
Yeah.
Which is why I dubbed the White House under Trump's trap house.
Oh fuck! There's now a paywall.
Ugh. Well, I can pull up the list of.
Well, I do have like two of the drugs. I do have two of the drugs that were commonly used in this. It was Ambien and Pergoval.
There was also ketamine in that list. Also, there was some
Well,
heavy
hold
duty
on.
shit like
Whoa, Victor, we're getting there. I have that on my second link. Let's wait on that.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was mostly Ambien and Pergoval. Ambien is a big downer, and Pergoval is an upper.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Well, Ambien is basically a very commonly abused sleeping pill. Also, some people hallucinate off of it, and it's also what Roseanne Barr blamed for some of her more erratic tweets, I think, back in 2017.
Yeah, and so basically the White House was giving not just drugs out, but uppers and downers. They were getting high.
Imagine getting high with the President of the United States. What an experience.
Yeah, and not only that, but basically they were okay, here we go. I found one basically without the ad block.
Good. Does it list the drugs?
Let's see. This 80-page document, which released on January 8th. Okay. The investigation began in 2018 when they complained. So this was like a let me think. 6-year investigation. Okay. Ambien or Pergoval, or typically both, the witness said. So you normally make these packets of Ambien and Pergoval, and a lot of times they be in 5 tablets in a Ziploc bag. And so traditionally, too, we would hand these out.
Wait, that's just a standard way you give them out when you're a drug dealer. Usually, if they're professionally prescribed, they'd be in those pill bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is just straight up drug dealer shit. Like I remember there were people who would sell their. Okay, my high school had a lot of drug dealers, and there's some who would sell Xanax just like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Xanax was one of the drugs that was sold, but I haven't seen any benzodiazepine on the official list, which is somewhat surprising.
Yes, the witness says a lot of times the senior staff would come by, or their staff representatives would come by the residence, the clinic to pick it up. It was very much a, hey, I'm here to pick up this for Mrs. X. And the expectation was we just go ahead and pass it out. Passing medication often out undersold the problem, as the report found that over-the-counter drugs are often left out in bins for staff to simply grab at their own leisure. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They like to have these huge barrels of this shit.
Wait, if it's over-the-counter drugs, that wouldn't include prescription. OTC drugs are drugs you can buy without a prescription. You can still get high off of them, but I highly doubt that Trump staff was like robo-tripping or some shit.
Oh, okay, well, but yeah, but like this is kind of bad too.
It's still extremely irresponsible to just hand out drugs like this. So
yeah, but this is not even basically like the most interesting part of the story. Like, well, besides the fact that basically that they're spending like probably like this is how much they were spending basically like well basically like yeah, so like they were spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions throughout basically like the 4 years and shit basically. However, they were also but what this article left out about this report for some reason is what we're going to get to right now.
But I would like it if we're able to get the official Trump script list because it includes some questionably hard substances. If you
Okay.
have
This is the list of prescription medication that was ordered by the White House Medical Unit in over just a 9-month period. Thousands of Ambien pills, but more importantly, there were 7 different orders of either fentanyl, morphine, or ketamine.
And if you know anything about those are 3 very hard drugs, and all 3 are well, fentanyl's obviously the most dangerous, but ketamine's a very popular drug. A lot of people like to snort it as it's a dissociative anesthetic. Morphine is just your standard painkiller opiate, but fent is definitely Trump is technically a fentanyl dealer.
Yeah.
Do you want to click on the list?
It says the real White House drug story wasn't the cocaine found under Biden's, but the fentanyl, morphine, and ketamine prescribed under Trump, and possibly to Trump. Yeah, so like,
this is a 3 to 4 year supply over an 8-month period. So wait, can you click that? Wait. Is that Ativan?
Where?
Okay, Tramadol's another painkiller, I believe. I can see Pregovil, Lorazepam. Okay, diazepam. Remember when I said that I didn't think they sold stuff like Xanax? I was wrong. There are multiple benzodiazepines on this list.
Really?
Yeah. They're basically, those are very powerful downers. And, well, I know this won't hold true for Trump, but if you drink while under the influence of a benzodiazepine, you will most likely die. Yeah.
Declan's asking to join.
Al. All right. You want to add him to stream right now, or
I suppose why not?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Just give him the StreamYard link, and we'll.
Actually, I don't have access to. Just send it to him. I already.
Okay. Let me just copy over the invite, and this is just gonna take a sec. I have to re-log into Discord on my laptop, since I rarely, if ever, use it on my laptop. If you didn't know. All right.
Yeah, sorry everyone for the delay.
Yeah, and also
Also,
There we
what?
go. All right, I sent him the invite.
Okay. So yeah. So wait. So can you explain basically what these are again?
Okay, so diazepam and lorazepam are both benzodiazepines. I also think I see Ativan. And the thing about all of those is, while they do have generally accepted uses for oh wait, they're listing Ativan twice actually. Lorazepam's just basically they're anti-anxiety drugs, but they're extremely powerful, heavy stuff.
And once again,
And
this is
very
like
commonly abused.
an over 4-year supply of this shit within 9 months. Yeah, they were basically drug dealing this stuff. Let's be honest. Basically, like
I'm gonna be real. There's no reason to get that much of some of these drugs if you aren't if you're suffering from insomnia. Like, it makes sense to take something like Ambien, but it makes no sense to order as much. Holy shit, 100 for diazepam and 200 for lorazepam. I'm gonna see if I recognize anything else. Like, Adamine was already mentioned. More Progovil, more Ambien, ketamine, Progovil.
yeah, we got a guest.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm guessing Trump just bought just got all the drugs so far. It looks like it.
Yeah, Trump is technically a fentanyl dealer if he gave this out to his staff.
Yeah,
Wait,
I mean,
I just realized something. He ordered 50 fentanyl units of fentanyl. 50.
I'm guessing a unit is like a single gram.
No, much smaller than that. Fentanyl is heavy duty stuff, so it's like less than 1 milligrams needed for like an actual pain killing dose.
I'll be right back.
But needless to I just realized there's also multiple orders of fentanyl here.
I'm just
2019,
imagining, like, I honestly, I don't know much about drugs. So I'm just going with what you say, but like, judging by your reaction, yeah, 50 sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's 50. Like, here, fentanyl is basically the strongest opiate that's legally able to be prescribed, and you're supposed to use it sparingly, and usually it's given in like patches or lollipops that have very small doses, because fentanyl overdoses are a very serious threat. And Trump himself was talking about how dangerous fentanyl was and how much of a killer it is, and here he is ordering it fairly liberally.
They seriously put in the lollipops.
Not the kind of lollipop you think of, but they're called lollipops. But it's just the way they metered the dose. I don't know why they're called lollipops.
Okay, feels like a sick joke by the person who named them that.
Yeah, so
I
pretty
mean,
much
heroin
basically all of
heroin
these
had
drugs.
the name heroin. It had a heroic name because the idea was it was supposed to save people from morphine addiction.
That
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah, that
fentanyl
sucks.
wasn't. Yes, heroin was invented to get people off of morphine, even though it's stronger. Idiots.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
pretty
saying
much
I drink too much beer. I should just chug a ball of vodka every day.
so pretty much basically all of these drugs listed here are basically that Trump was in this report that is all uppers and downers and like addictive stuff.
Like none of this is just standard stuff you'd the type of stuff I'd expect someone of Trump's age to order would be stuff like blood pressure medicine in maybe like if like maybe like just a few cases of like stimulants because maybe like weak stimulants, but not all of this. The one thing is there were so many theories of Trump abusing Adderall, but the thing is the only Pergovil isn't Adderall. It's significantly weaker than it, but it still is a stimulant that can be abused, as are all drugs have the potential to, even caffeine. Looks like they canceled that one Ambien fentanyl order, but then they ordered 10 more fentanyls. Let's see, fentanyl at 10 UG per milliliter. So using I'm just gonna pull up something from Psychonaut Wiki real quick, since that's I know it's not perfect, but that's basically an in-depth Wikipedia for drugs that's made for and by Psychonauts to basically explore how different substances affect the human
Wasn't that a
conscious. And
game?
yes, it's also a game. But Econautics the Steady is okay, looking at the dosage of fentanyl for this and considering the fact it was likely either transdermal or sublingual, it's considered a light dose, but keep in mind it's still considering the amount that's been ordered, it's pretty heavy duty shit.
Yeah, so
And when I went on Psychonaut Wiki to list fentanyl, it says, warning, the substance is extraordinarily potent, i.e. active in the microgram range. For this reason, it should be handled with extreme caution and never be eyeballed.
And then
that
Trump
lists
is
all the
just
stuff
snorting like a shitload every night.
if he's and here's the thing, some of the drugs he listed here, if they're combined with fentanyl, they can straight up kill you. You know, like benzodiazepines are listed here, such as lorazepam, diazepam. Um, other depressants like Ambien and if you for the sake of of more research, I'm also gonna look up Ambien and looking at that dosage. Okay, 5 milligrams, which is the threshold dose, so fairly light, but considering the fact it was handed out like these pills were handed out like candy, that's still pretty reckless.
It's like Halloween, but for White House staff members.
I actually made that same joke myself of like,
well,
imagine going to trick or treat in the White House, but it's just all drugs.
Oops, all fentanyl.
It's all fentanyl, benzos, all that.
And here's the thing: is that like, the Department of Defense still doesn't know the extent to this. Like if it's within basically the, if it's within Trump and his staff, basically like that is there's nothing illegal about that, even though basically this is ethically questionable to say the least. To abuse the system. But if you gave it to basically the staff members, family members, or hell, even just anyone else, that is illegal.
It's straight up drug dealing. And considering the fact that several drugs here are Schedule 2 drugs, including fentanyl and I believe morphine. Let me look it up again. I'm pretty sure morphine's Schedule 2. I know it's not Schedule 1 because Schedule 1 drugs aren't allowed to be prescribed under any circumstances with the exception of cannabis, but that's most likely gonna change in the future as the FDA recommended it being dropped to Schedule 3, but I digress. Okay, it's in Canada it's Schedule 1, in the US it's Schedule 2 or 3. And if he's handing out these drugs like candy, it's basically equivalent to him like dealing coke because cocaine is also Schedule 2.
So what you're trying to say is there's actually a small gray area where cocaine is legal?
Yes, because it's considered a local anesthetic. However, it's rarely, if ever, used for that purpose anymore.
That reminds me of an episode of Murdoch Mystery where like one of the higher ups of the cop office just became a cocaine addict because back then
Yeah,
this was when they were giving out like
you know those old advertisements like cocaine for toothaches. The truth
yeah,
is
that was
they
literally the
worked
time
for
period the show was set at. So yeah,
yeah.
they
The truth is that they worked as a local anesthetic. It's just that there are now better local anesthetics that are way less addictive, such as Novocaine.
give me Novocaine.
Okay, so this video is getting kind of long, so I guess we should probably move on.
Yeah, we shouldn't have it be over an hour and a half.
Okay, what have you guys covered?
The Pennsylvanian who cut off his dad's head.
Did you mention how people were saying it's a psyop?
Yeah, and how basically I said that they're attacking football and thinking it's somehow people are distracted from football and not the real issues, even though football is such a big American pastime. And it's fairly popular in a lot of red areas, especially Texas, as I mentioned
People are
before.
saying this is because of football.
Yeah, and some people are even saying that the game's going to be rigged for the Chiefs just so Taylor Swift can endorse Biden during the Super Bowl, which is ridiculous because the truth is the 49ers winning would help the Biden campaign just as much, considering the fact that they're a Californian team and Kamala Harris is from California.
Yeah, I would argue that no matter which team wins, it won't really affect the campaign very much.
I mean, in reality, I agree, but the thing is, the Biden campaign can benefit from either winner. Kamala Harris could easily, after a 49er victory, be like, I am so proud of my fellow Californians for winning this. We're inviting them to the White House. And then they all,
yeah, so
smile for the camera with Biden.
Victor.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Jesus
so
Christ,
next So anyway,
what's the next?
Next one is the Arizona anti-election bill. This one is not as fun, but it's just basically kind of absurd, and it probably won't even pass. But it's kind of absurd that they even brung this one up. If I can share it, this was from a local Arizona outlet. Proposed resolution would give Arizona legislature authority to override popular vote. So basically, the popular vote won't matter anymore. It's non-binding. It's whatever the legislature votes what the elector's going to be. Which, this is pretty unprecedented. Like, no election in U.S. history besides, like, the first election that elected Washington did the states do this.
I hate to argue.
But the one thing is, considering the fact Katie Hobbs is governor and the Republican majorities in the state legislature are razor thin, I highly doubt this even passes the legislature.
Yeah, I basically
and the
just
thing
said
is,
that,
even
Victor.
if it did somehow pass, not only would it be political suicide for all the Republicans involved, but But the thing is, it's not veto-proof either because of the razor-thin majorities. Kay Hobbs can just veto this bill and then just make the Republicans look like lunatics. Biden will win Arizona again, and then no one's going to remember this bill.
And
I'm
let's
going.
well, let me and here's the thing to note is basically like a lot of Republicans basically for some reason are supporting legislation like this. I mean, like not necessarily I don't know about the politicians, but like the Republican base loves stuff like this for some reason.
It's because
It's
to them they believe it will help fight against election fraud.
Yeah, I mean, like and here's something that's interesting too. The guy who proposed this, State Senator Anthony Kern, was one of the people behind who participated in the fake electors plot in 2020.
which some would argue was the real insurrection committed by Trump.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call that. Insurrection implies an armed uprising.
Okay,
I would say
the real attempt to cheat.
Yeah, that would be more accurate because, like as I mentioned, insurrection.
Okay, but I personally don't agree with that line of reasoning. I personally think January 6th was simply a tantrum. It wasn't an insurrection. It was simply just a tantrum.
Well, I wouldn't call it an insurrection either. I would call it a silent coup. Like it was a pen and paper thing that failed because Mike Pence basically, for one, Mike Pence refused to do it, and two, the riot itself, kind of basically like, completely screwed up that plot.
I'm gonna be real. There was no chance of Mike Pence agreeing to that or not, and any idea that he would is simply
slander.
Delusional. I just think it's delusional because the thing is, Mike Pence, and he'll always say he's a Christian, he's a conservative, and a Republican in that order. And I think his ideals as just a old school conservative would override his loyalty for Trump. The one legacy of this is now everyone will joke that this can still happen if Mike Pence has the courage.
Come on, Mike, you can do it.
I kind of feel bad for well, I don't agree with Mike Pence on a lot, but I kind of think the MAGA base just screwed him over because he's in the worst position possible because he's both way too Trumpy to ever be part of the anti-Trump movement because he was Larry Trump's VP, but he's not Trumpy enough because he didn't quote unquote have the courage to overturn the results.
I know, it's kind of absurd. And the thing is that like Mike Pence didn't want to do that because if Mike Pence did it and like the fake electors plot would have basically like thrown like the whole system into chaos. Pretty much like you could very well basically there probably would have been like a coup or whatever by the military to basically ensure Biden got into the seat, or you might even have basically like several states refusing to recognize Trump's second term for reasonable reasons, to say the least.
Second American Civil War.
That could have been. I mean, basically that could have happened if Mike Pence went along with Trump, pretty much.
Or another possibility would just be another possibility would be the military forces them to take it to the Supreme Court.
And then the Supreme Court, remember how a lot of people were pissed off at Amy Coney Barrett for not even hearing the Trump case and calling her a traitor and whatnot because she threw out all the objections to the election, her and all the other Supreme Court justices. Because the truth is, she's a textualist, an originalist. And it's clear where her loyalties would lie as a result. They're not towards Trump. And remember, Trump relied heavily on the Federalist Society picking out originalists for the Supreme Court. That's how Neil Gorsuch was put on the Supreme Court. And I honestly think that was the best move of Trump's entire tenure, was appointing Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. It's also the one thing Amash likes about Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, basically, I guess, yeah, well, my final thoughts on that thing was basically like, yeah, pretty concerning that they'll even basically like, consider, like, this is even being proposed as a bill. Like, because it doesn't make you look good.
Well, it makes them look good to their base, which is what they actually want.
Yeah, and the problem with listening to the MAGA base is it will actively screw them over because the thing is, the GOP's most recent successes have been when they've decided to just buck the MAGA base and just listen to the quote unquote establishment. They didn't have a primary for Glenn Youngkin. I believe they had a convention where they just handpicked him. That worked pretty well. Because if they were going to pick some random nut, like the Virginia equivalent of Doug Mastriano, they would have lost, and McAuliffe would have been reelected governor.
Yeah, conventions are definitely far better for like a party overall, because well, you could use my country as Canada as an example where our parties repeatedly were able to course correct and get like debatably better people because we don't have it open to the fucking public.
Like replacing Aaron O'Toole with Pierre Poilievre was absolutely the right call for the Conservatives. Now the question is, will the Liberals do something similar? Will they oust
Victor.
Trudeau? But I
Well,
don't
they
know.
only do that. Well, it's typically tradition in Parliament that the current Prime Minister only steps down as leader of the party if they lose.
Okay, so
okay, let's well,
anyway, I digress.
we're going a little bit off subject.
All right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, anyway, basically, the last thing we'll talk. Well, I guess not necessarily the last thing, but the last thing we had planned for this stream is the dueling bill in Missouri.
Yes.
One I fully endorse, by the way. I totally think we should have members of our state legislatures dueling. Like, I would personally love it if we could just have it. So instead of debates, we could just have two politicians rip off their shirts and just have a filmed fight in like a parking lot. I personally didn't tune into the DeSantis Trump, DeSantis Newsom debate, but I would have loved it if they just had a fist fight in a parking lot and streamed it.
Okay. Let me get into the article here. Utter stupidity. Missouri Republican bids to bring back dueling for senators. State Senator Nick Schroeder wants to reintroduce dueling to solve political differences in his state house. So let me give you basically a thing here is that like they're not gonna go the proposed bill is they're not gonna go outside and do it like this. They're gonna do it in the chamber, according
Even
to the
better.
bill.
We need more bloodshed in government buildings.
Yeah. Back in the day, they were smart enough to take dueling outside. The draft I saw suggests doing it in the chamber. This doesn't show such or bravery or manhood. This is just a story and opinion. Let's see. The state senator behind their pose said he was making a point about the breakdown of regular order in Missouri politics. The draft rule change came to a national notice when it was posed to social media by Democrats in the state Senate. The Missouri Republican Civil War continues to escalate as a member of the Freedom Caucus faction has filed proposed rule change to allow senators to challenge an offending senator to a duel. So it's the Freedom Caucus.
Oh, yeah. Them again.
Hold on, let me get the accent. You have dishonored my lady. You will die. That's how they sound in my head now. They have a weird...
I just personally would like it if this bill passed, simply because I would love it to be live streamed.
It says, the draft rule reads, if a senator's honor is impugned by another senator to the point that is beyond repair, in order for the offended senator to gain satisfaction, such senator may rectify the perceived insult to the senator's honor by challenging the offending senator to a duel.
For the honor of my lady.
Yeah, the language of the The language of the bill is hilarious.
I challenge you to a battle. Just goddamn battles.
The trusted representative, known as the second or the offended senator, shall send a written challenge to the offending senator. The two senators shall agree to the terms of the duel, including choice of weapons, which shall be witnessed and enforced by their respective seconds. So it has to be in writing. The challenge has to be in writing, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so it's not like you can just simply pull out a sword in the in the Senate chamber and be like, "I challenge you, Senator, to a duel for defaming my honor."
So I can't just walk into if I was a
Oh
senator, I
God,
couldn't just
I just thought about Zuko as a Missouri state senator doing this.
I just thought of Nikolai Malfoy, the funny man who just walks in as like a senator. He's like, I challenge you to a battle.
Yeah.
If you get the reference, that's hilarious.
So the bill goes on and says the duel shall take place in the well of the Senate, so the chamber, at the hour of high noon on the date agreed to by the parties to the It's a Western. The John Wayne.
It's high noon somewhere in the world. My God, imagine if you said that in the courtroom.
I personally just think that they should have to do this with swords. There should straight up be two designated long swords for every Senate chamber, and they're allowed to duel with them. Obviously, after agreeing to this in writing.
Yeah, it says Nick Schroeder's chief of staff, James Murphy, told Newsweek that Schroeder was deeply committed to restoring a sense of honor in the Missouri Senate, but suggested that the idea of a duel, in a metaphorical sense.
So a rap battle.
So I think the entire idea was just simply a performance act to highlight the tensions in the Senate chamber on a serious note, but I actually wouldn't mind if this bill became law.
I mean, it's not like anyone's actually dumb enough to act on it.
Yeah,
I think there'd be like a few, because honestly, I think if two senators really are pissed at each other that much, they would just simply recreate what happened to Charles Sumner rather than go through the official protocols. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was certainly a crazy ass moment in American politics.
Yeah, let's just say the American way of governing should have been completely restructured after that incident. Considering your system was entirely based on the concept that everyone would act professionally.
Hear that, or I disagree and simply say it should reiterate the need to act professionally, and they should have punished the offending congressman more.
Okay, so here's my suggestion. We have a single guy there with a big knife, and if anyone ever steps out of line, the guy just gently pokes them with the knife until they bleed.
I was gonna say a big stick would probably make the most sense. It's also a metaphor, to speak softly but carry a big stick.
Yeah. Okay, but
we just
is
have
it
the
supposed to be like a stick from the wilderness?
We just have like the president pro tempore of the Senate just carry around that big stick and just gently tap on anyone like starting to make a heated argument. Oh, and to round off this crazy year, there was one final news story, but it happened like just today, so it's hard to say what its full implications will be. But King Charles III has cancer.
And Hassan already made an ass of himself about this.
Plenty of people online have, but my personal thoughts are, since they were fairly vague and that he's undergoing treatment, they probably caught it fairly early, and the tumor is most likely operable, so he'll just be out of commission for a few weeks and then recover.
I just honestly, for the sake of like his family, I hope this goes more like my grandfather and my Auntie Jackie instead of my Auntie Val.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough. December 30th was a rough day for me, man.
Yes. And also let's give our thoughts basically on and predictions on what the rest of how the rest of 2024 will be crazy.
It's going to get way
well,
worse.
Well, obviously, I think this election where you have this year is probably going to be the most toxic and divisive in American history, and it's going to make the 2020 election look as civil as 2008 by comparison.
Every election just gets worse and worse.
Now, honestly, 2012 to 2008 wasn't too much of a difference.
2016 was bad. 2020 got worse. 2024 worse.
I mean, basically, like it's basically like, I mean, I do especially expect things to at least be tense, and the fact that like we're dealing with unprecedented stuff we have before and compared to previous elections. Like, for one, Trump having at least 90 criminal charges against him right now, and the fact that and he's like very likely going to be the Republican nominee, or he's pretty much going to be the nominee at this point. But
there's no shot Haley has. After she lost New Hampshire, there was no chance. Like, she had all the potential things she could have had to win New Hampshire, including the gubernatorial endorsement.
Okay, Victor, let's stay on topic with Trump and Biden.
Yeah, and Biden's obvious decline, and more and more stuff's leaking out about what Biden truly feels about Trump, because Biden in public never swears, and he's often seen as like someone who tries to keep things, G-rated, according to his own campaign Facebook accounts. But then in private, he's like, what a sick fuck. What a fucking asshole that guy is. And to be honest, I would respect Biden if he just tweeted something like that out rather than just saying this behind closed doors.
Yeah, so basically, not only do we have like the 90 criminal charges against Trump, and he could get convicted in any of them during the campaign season, maybe even like last minute in October, which would be pretty chaotic in its own right. But there's also like both candidates are like superly old. They're basically like most Americans outside of basically like the hardcore Biden supporters and Trump supporters don't really want either of these either of these nominees, but Biden still wants to run, and Trump's base like literally controls the GOP, so it's like
and Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson, they got less than 4%. And in the first Biden primary in South Carolina, Biden utterly destroyed Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips. They only got like 2% of the vote, respectively. And even in the New Hampshire race where Biden wasn't even on the ballot due to the fact that Jamie Harrison, because he's a South Carolinian, was so insistent on South Carolina being the first Democratic primary state, was completely irrelevant. Biden still won in a landslide through a write-in.
Okay, but here's the thing, Victor, is that like it doesn't mean Biden is popular. It just basically means that that no one really likes any of the alternatives, and no one's running against Biden. That's serious because he's the incumbent president. Like Biden has his approval rating is in the 30s, generally.
Yeah, it's just that both I'd say voters in the primaries like Trump and Biden. I wasn't saying that they are both as a whole popular.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, like Biden still probably has like at least a simple majority hardcore base in the Dems that really like Biden. And the same thing with Trump. But most voters, at least a plurality, don't want either one. It's like it's like this will be the most unpopular election in a long time, to say the least. Where no
and
one
they
wants.
said that about 2020, and they said the same thing about 2016.
Okay, Vic. Oh, no, they didn't. Declan.
Wait.
This is.
Well, I'd say since it's the same
Let
candidate,
me-
it's just a
let-
rematch no one wanted.
Let me explain, Declan. And people did say the same about 2016, but this is even worse than 2016.
I know. I've been saying that this entire stream is going to get way worse.
Yeah, and in 2020, basically, Biden was actually pretty popular. He was just because back then he was seen as the generic Democrat, a kind of likable guy, and he was basically like the perfect anti-Trump, almost the perfect anti-Trump pick. And
He was Obama's VP too, so the Obama nostalgia really helped him out too, which is why Biden is featuring Obama heavily in his re-election campaign, which I think, from just a strategic point of view, is smart. Obama is still very popular amongst Democrats and independents. My dad really loves Obama. It makes sense.
Yeah, and plus, like, and Trump and people at that point were starting to get sick of Trump, as well as basically like the COVID-19 really hurt Trump as well, and Trump wasn't as lively as he was in 2015 to 2016. He still isn't.
He's getting worse.
Yeah, people are even more sick of him. Like, trust me, I'm sick of him. And I used to be a Trump supporter, so keep that in mind. So yeah, like people basically saying like people are saying like, oh, right, as of right now Trump is in the lead in national polling, but given that this is going to be a superly chaotic year, you cannot make that prediction like right now.
Honestly, I think the ceasefire now guy had a better prediction.
Oh yeah, the 271 votes for the party known as Ceasefire Now.
Which will do absolutely nothing because it turns out America doesn't have the ability to order other countries to stop shooting each other.
Like, the most we can do is well, this stream isn't about the Israel-Palestine conflict, but
I know.
I
It's
will
just
say
better
that
projection.
the idea of simply writing in Ceasefire Now, which a lot of people did in New Hampshire, thinking it somehow did anything, is just ridiculous. Like, if you're going to write in someone to make a statement, there are so many ways you could have given a middle finger to the system in a better
Didn't
way,
people write
including
in Trump for the Dems?
there were a few people who did that, and there were a few people who wrote in Joe Biden in the Republican New Hampshire primary. But I was thinking more like people either voting Vermin Supreme or just writing in, I don't know, Donald Duck. I also know Josh Shapiro got a few who write-in votes, so once again, the Dems should just nominate him. They'd win easily.
I'm starting to wonder if like Josh Shapiro, if he's like the second coming of Jesus.
Okay, I wouldn't got that far. Also, well, you could tell from his last name that, well,
Look, look, I'm just saying it would still make sense.
He himself would reject the idea of him being a messiah.
I know.
But I am kind of curious on how he's as popular as he is, because he's a pretty standard Democrat, all things considered, but he significantly outperformed John Fetterman in 2022. And that one skit, it's so Trump supporter who decapitated his father literally said, "Oh yeah, kill all these people, but spare Shapiro. I like Shapiro."
Maybe it's because he thought it was related to Ben Shapiro.
Considering the fact he was in that same speech talking about threatening all these Dems, including Biden, I doubt that. In context, it doesn't make any sense that Ben Shapiro would even matter in this.
I know, it's just the last name people are dumbasses and think someone shares a name they're related.
Oh yeah, I am curious how a Ben Shapiro Josh Shapiro election would do, though. Some people
Josh
even
Pi-
joke that Republicans voted for Josh Shapiro just because they thought he was related.
I think Josh Shapiro would wipe Ben Shapiro, to be honest.
Yeah, they're pretty different politically.
Oh, they would
One's like
do is
a
just play the wet SP word clip.
oh yeah. Do you know what? So Ben Shapiro retired from rapping after making that one rap song. But do you know what? In his tweet announcing it, do you know what? It was like Ben Shapiro in black and white, and it was like 2024 to 2024. But instead of calling Ben Shapiro, they gave him the nickname Dr. Dreidel, which I think is a pretty cool play on words.
That's adorable. That's like cringe but adorable.
Honestly, we should have probably made that a topic in this video.
Ben Shapiro's rap?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Hey, at least it's a lighthearted. It's at least a lighthearted note to end on. Same thing with the dueling.
Yeah, I mean it's a much better note than what we originally were intending, which was what happened to King Charles. But yeah, we will leave our official note on Ben Shapiro's short-lived rap career.
Probably less than a day in total.
He just made one song and then retired.
Oh,
so
speaking of dueling,
yeah.
there's like a fact I forgot to bring up. During the Crimean War, the British government had to basically stop soldiers from dueling by threatening to take away their pension if they got killed in a duel.
That actually makes sense that it would.
It just became so common. That being said, any final words or thoughts or?
I'll just say this: buckle up.
It's going to be a real one, boys.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, so
Do you want to do like an outro or?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yes. What should we do as an outro?
I guess we could talk about all the non-political stuff we're excited for this year.
Oh yeah, I've been playing a lot of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It is good. And I'm really looking forward to the future of the Yakuza series as it goes forward. I don't know what's the game that would be next. Maybe it would be a Third Judgment game, which would be awesome, but there might be some licensing issues. Maybe a smaller project like another Gaiden game, probably featuring Goro Majima. Or maybe they'll just go straight to Yakuza 9. I doubt it, but it's possible. Oh yeah, also Cobra Kai is its final season's releasing this year. That's gonna be great.
Nice. I've watched Hazbin Hotel. It was pretty good. The music is pretty great. Rip the Serpent dude. He was a real one.
And it's revealed that the Avatar Last Air. I was actually kind of excited for the live action Avatar Last Airbender, but the thing is, it's like completely missing the point on so many of the characters and the side activities. Like the quote unquote side quests that Aang went on, they still did help the overarching narrative. So to just cut out what seemed like filler just for the sake of convenience is just.
From what I understand, those side episodes were actually meant to focus more on like the interpersonal relationships.
Yes, and also show the impacts the Fire Nation has on everyday people.
Something which is kind of important.
Yeah, like
this is a problem.
And they're also apparently removing Sokka's sexist attitude, which I'm like, the entire point was that he had outdated sexist views at the start, but over the course of the series, he grew out of that and grew as a person. It's called character development.
We've forgotten that's a thing, Vic.
Oh, right.
Times the flat circle.
Any pieces of media that you're looking forward to?
Z of the
Phoenix?
Recapture, the Kogia spinoff. I think the first movie comes out this year. I think. I've already watched Has-Been. It was pretty good. Invincible Season 2, Part 2. We're doing Attack on Titan style stuff now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm like, come on, man, just release the full season.
Fucking unions! Get back to animating!
Like, we waited so long for season 2 to come out, and it's good. Like, it's really good. But it's like, come on, don't just cut the season in half when it's only 8 episodes.
Well, see here, they did it because, I'm just going to blame unions because that's kind of become my thing recently, blaming unions.
Yeah.
We're also
I
being,
just think...
yeah.
But the one thing I've seen criticism labeled against season 2 is that they're focusing a lot on Debbie's broken life, but I actually really like that segment because, of course, it makes sense that her life would be in disarray after her husband of 20 years turns out to be a mass murdering psychopath that nearly beat her son to death. Of course, or she would drink heavily and be depressed after that. I think most people would probably be shaken up after that.
Okay, guys, let's wrap up the video. We're gonna end this stream with the song "America Fuck Yeah."
Oh. You always do that.
Yeah. So goodbye, everyone. This has been Anarchy, Minarchy, and Utopia. We'll come back with another stream sometime.
Even Elizabeth Graho.
Macklemore, La Deluge. America, frick yeah.
Fuck yeah! Terrorist, your game is through. Cause now you have to answer to America. Fuck yeah! So lick my blood and suck on my balls. America. Fuck yeah! What you gonna do when we come for you now? It's the dream that we all share. It's the whole for tomorrow. Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Walmart! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Baseball! Fuck yeah! NFL! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Internet! Fuck yeah! Slavery! Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! Starbucks! Fuck yeah! Disney World! Fuck yeah! Porno! Fuck yeah! Valium! Fuck yeah! Reebok! Fuck yeah! Fake tits! Fuck yeah! Sushi! Fuck yeah! Taco Bell! Fuck yeah! Rodeo! Fuck yeah! Bed Bath and Beyond! Liberty! Fuck yeah! White Slips! Fuck yeah! The Alamo! Fuck yeah! Band-Aid! Fuck yeah! Las Vegas! Fuck yeah! Christmas! Fuck yeah! Immigrants! Fuck yeah! Popeye! Fuck yeah! Democrats! Fuck yeah! Republicans! Sponsorship! Books!